And Rachel is live.
Hey, let me add people back in real quick. It's been a little bit of a mess trying to get StreamYard to work.
Hello. And it's not your
Hey.
fault. It is
Hello.
there's look at Twitter and there's just people I can't
Yeah,
go live.
that's what I
Hey,
was looking at.
hey.
Of course,
Hey.
I knew this would happen the second I wasn't staring right at the camera. All of a sudden, it worked. I didn't mean to add Father back in. Sorry.
I'll go back away. I can
Yeah,
tell when I'm not wanted.
I
Oh.
just hey,
Aw.
you're always welcome, Fathery. That you usually have. I assume you don't want to run out of things to say tomorrow. Hi, welcome to what I was really worried that they were like, we heard Rachel was going to be annoying about books, and so we weren't going to let her go live. Anyways, yeah, well, finally, welcome to the stream about Labyrinths. That is my childhood list comes out every time I try to say that name of that episode.
What was it called again, Rachel?
Labyrinths with an S
Lab
at the end.
Labyrinth. Ooh, I can't even
Yeah,
say that. It's like tongue tie.
yeah. I could say the word, and I think also because
Labyrinth is easy, but
I love the movie Labyrinth. My brain just all my brain wants to say.
I need to go back and watch it. I literally have not seen that since it came out in the 80s.
I was a big sleepover movie for me.
Oh.
Does everyone
That
want to
makes
go
sense.
around to introduce themselves before I just start talking about David Bowie for no reason?
Hey guys, I'm Braxton.
Stanley.
I'm Marcelo. I'm a writer, a podcaster, and a YouTuber.
I'm Aaron Harvey. I'm a graphic designer, podcaster, improviser, all the things.
I love that you don't mention the Star Trek book you wrote.
Well, I don't.
He's
that,
the
that feels
author,
like
folks.
braggy to say every
Yeah.
time, though.
And
Or my
I-
comic book covers from Star Trek.
Yeah. I'm Rachel. And yeah, let's talk about the newest episode, Labyrinths. I'm gonna stop trying to say it. I might just call it Labyrinth. I don't care.
The library episode.
Yeah. Yeah, as I did because I watched the episode with Aaron when they started doing creepy stuff with shadows. I was like, wait, this seems familiar.
Hey, who turned
Oh,
out the lights?
you and Aaron watched together?
hmm
Okay.
So what did everyone think of this episode?
I thought this was a really fun episode. I was like all set not to like, the drama at the end when like,
Mhm.
Michael was like having her like, moment with, Book. But then, it just kind of like recovered from that and bounced back. But I thought this episode was great. I loved the librarian. I thought that her dress was beautiful. Um, I thought this was a really fun episode. I liked it.
Yeah, this episode was really, really fun. I mean, for some reason, this episode reminded me, and for only one reason, this episode reminded me of that episode where Captain Riker and the Enterprise go to that planet that has that machine on it that they sell weapons. And when the Enterprise first shows up, a hologram greets them and thinks they're arm dealers.
Oh yeah.
Um, but this episode was really fun. I really liked the librarian. She reminded me a bunch of a Klingon. As a matter of fact, when all the promo images came out for this episode like a week ago, I kept thinking she's a Klingon. But she's not a Klingon. At least in my understanding. But she looks like one to me. I don't know.
I cannot. Aaron, you remembered what the species was from Star Trek 4, right? That she is.
Oh, until you asked me, yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ephrosion, something like
Yeah.
that.
She's something that has been seen before, but literally in
Yeah.
only one of the movies.
Apparently,
Okay.
the director was like obsessed with that character or something like that. Yeah,
Good for him.
Ephrosion.
I would also
Oh,
like be annoying if I ever got to write for Star Trek. I'd be like, I'm gonna make my thing.
Yeah, everything would be TAS for me. So it's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
Stan, what did you think?
Could not find the unmute button. I really love this episode. I know I can't swear as much in this stream as I do on the salon, but Book was serving charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent and I loved every damn
Oh,
minute.
you are 100% right. I believe I said
So
Mind
good.
Book's a little shit in the best way while watching
Yes.
the episode.
I loved every moment about
Like-
the director said, "Can you serve?" and he said, "Say less."
Yeah.
David Ajala is great. And like a lot of people this season are getting the chance to play different characters and different moments with each other. This was one of my favorites because I really like when somebody is clearly stepping out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
I will be blunt and just say I do think it's easier for us queers to play straight because we have had to in our lives than it is for straights to play gay. But David nailed it. And I also love that it's in Michael's mind. So in her mind, like it's her subconscious onto him. And like the dress was great. I loved like that sick burn. May you find knowledge elsewhere.
I made a gif of it already.
I
Yeah,
immediately
like-
said I need that on a t-shirt. I
Yes.
need that on a t-shirt with the book logo from the from there.
We may or may not be talking about printing signs for STLV with that on it for the salon. I'm like, seek knowledge elsewhere, bitch.
Yeah.
There's the door. I loved it. This was super fun. And like on a more serious note, I love when a character in media discovers something that the audience has known. And so for Michael to just say out loud, "I'm afraid of failure," is something we've known since season 1. It's a prime motivator for her. It's something that the show's gotten criticism about because of the way that it's been executed along the way. But having them just talk about it head on and be very blunt with it, like this is core to who she is. And it was a beautiful moment for her to figure that out. And, you know, it really moved the story along. And as always with this show, just beautiful visuals. Loved it.
Aaron, you still need to say what you.
I want Mind Book to show up randomly, just like as actual Book is talking, just like stop talking, like a something from Battlestar Galactica or
Yeah.
But no, I loved it. I love giant libraries, so it's like you could have just walked around and done nothing, but just showed the library. It'd have been fine. It does feel like it was a bridge episode, kind of like the one with the ISS was, but I feel like it was more successful than that for some reason. It felt like it got a lot of stuff done, but we also got a lot of character development and just like quiet moments. And I think we could do that because it was an hour and 1 minute or something like that. So it is a little bit longer than normal. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I don't think those are dresses. I think they're like monk robes. I think that's what that's kind of supposed to be. What she's wearing.
It was hard.
Because I think both men and women have that, right?
Yeah, because I think Mind Book was wearing it as well.
No, I know, but I think somebody called it a dress. I just wondering if it was a dress or if it actually is a robe.
I don't know. Robes are just dresses that people
Well,
men don't want to say are dresses. I don't like.
I'm being like overly picky. Sorry, that's just my ADHD brain.
Yeah, I loved it. I love books and I love books and I love Star Trek. So this was a great episode for me. But I loved the location and I loved it was so interesting because watching David Ajala and Sonequa Martin Green still have really good chemistry, but in a completely different way, was really fun. And I genuinely, I just want to repeat everything you guys have just said already. It was, to me, it made really good use of the location, which I sometimes feel like in media in general, someone's like, that's a really cool location, you're not doing enough with it. And they were like exploring it a lot. And I felt like actually like all the library stuff was really cool, but I liked that they made it a little longer to like fit in like, hey, we still have to do some plot stuff. But they did it so you like felt like you got enough of each side. I felt like.
And I'm glad we didn't spend more time with the Breen.
Yeah,
really? Are you not enjoying the Breen's storyline now, dude? Like I was trashing it like 2 weeks ago, but now like I'm into it. Look,
just the whole idea of like, oh, they're so enigmatic and hard. Like, no, they seem very 2-dimensional. I'm sorry, they just like That was my issue. It's
I
like
was-
make them more interesting, or make
I
the
was
main bad guy more interesting. Although it doesn't matter now because he's gone.
enjoying that, but I did say, "Oh, I'm glad the one-dimensional one died."
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Mm.
maybe that
yeah,
was the
I
issue.
love
It was
the,
just that one
yeah.
person.
So I guess let's get in more to the little. I guess we're talking about the Breen. We could talk
Sorry.
about them. What was everyone on my side of? Oh, good, the one-dimensional one died.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought the Breen were a really, really interesting, final bad guy for the series.
Mhm.
That one big bad guy that everybody seemed to hate, he didn't really get on my nerves. I just really loved how menacing the Breen were as a people every time they came up,
Yeah.
because a lot of villains in Discovery have come off to me as, oh, these are just token bad guys, and if Discovery really
Mhm.
wanted to, they could kick the ever living shit out of these people.
Yeah, no,
But
they can't.
but but the Breen came off to me as someone that, oh, wait a minute, the Breen could actually kick Discovery's ass, and they wouldn't even have a chance to respond. So
Yeah.
their whole thing was really effective for me.
Yeah, I don't think I like hated him as a character, but he was becoming as the more he was on, he felt more one note, and I was like, oh, I'm good with like this character being the like one you kill off to like show that like Maul's taking a turn to something.
Right.
I don't know if it's the dark side. I don't like it's just that I'm not sure where Maul goes from here, and that's not a bad thing. But
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that we're getting more about the Breen in general this season, especially as they are in the 32nd century. We know that there are 6 factions. We know what they look like now. Visuals updated. Some of their ships. But I agree with Aaron. It's a little one dimensional with this particular Primarch, and but I will say I like the way they're executing who's the bad guy, who's the adversary this season more than they've done in past seasons, because like for example in season 3 I loved Osira and her potential, but the way they framed her for like 6 episodes is like, oh my god, Osira. It was like they made it look like she was terrifying, and oh my god. And then she just turned out to be a cunning bitch, and I loved it. I love that scene with her and Vance. I love a cunning bitch. Like, listen, it's the queer in me. I am always gonna say, listen, that woman's being shady, and I support it. I support women, but then, like it's being discussed in the chat, they killed her.
Yeah.
I think the run up and the execution was a little rough. Here it's a little bit better. I like the way that they're going. So the one dimensionalness with the Primarch, I think, works in the overall story's favor, because now Maul is taking over and she's being slightly more interesting. I've been hit or miss. Like I think they're giving us the right amount of her until this episode. This episode was a little more than I care about, because I don't like the choices that she's making personally, mainly that wig. But I get why they're doing it, and I think they're setting up something that should be fun.
I think I was starting to get worried about the Primarch being one dimensional, and then I was like, oh, because they're setting her up to take over. That's a good story setup. I'm good with that. There was one. I was convinced that one breed was going to turn out to be Locke, because, as I said to Aaron, I said, "Is that Locke, or is her type just Breen? Why is she like staring at him like that?"
And he had like the body language of somebody who was like more caring than they would be. It seemed like.
I saw a different theory on Twitter that was not my theory, but that maybe that is like someone in disguise, and that's not actually a Breen.
Oh.
And I was like, maybe, because I don't know why they're being nice.
We haven't seen Doug Jones.
But if Doug Jones was
truncated into it, pushed him down.
Yeah, he's pushed into it. No, but if it was Doug Jones, like his feet would be a dead giveaway.
Oh no, I'm just being silly.
His height would be a dead giveaway.
Obvious,
That
would be hilarious. There's like all of a sudden.
He's like, who is that guy? He's like 7 feet.
He just springs out.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Did you guys enjoy the Breen funeral? Did you think it was beautiful? I kind of
I
did. I was like,
I
oh,
like
okay.
liked it, but I did also think it reminded me of the scene from Temple of Doom where they're like
Mm.
where they're
Oh yeah.
sacrificing the guy to Kali Ma. I might not
Yeah.
pronounce.
Kalima.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I think
Kalima.
this is where
Kalima.
to Aaron's point, they could have done
Yes.
something a little more alien, a little different,
Mhm.
just to mix it up. But I mean, it served the purpose of the story that they were telling. But it could have been because they were such a mystery.
Mhm.
What we're getting, I like what we're getting about their politics, but what we're learning about them is it's just not an interesting mystery. It just happened to be unknown.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're beating their
That's-
staffs kind of like
yeah.
Klingons in ways, but
I'm-
it sounded like for the Cylons. I'm like, why are we battling Star Galactica all this time? Like Cylon. We have
So
really
say we
taken a
all.
turn the last few episodes. of
I got that
It's funny.
all.
This episode kept bringing up words that I like know from really weird places, where I knew what the word scion meant because it's used a lot in the movie Dogma, and then I knew what
Also a
oubliette.
car.
This I'm assuming was on purpose. I knew what the word oubliette meant because it's in the movie Labyrinth.
Yeah.
So I was like, that feels on purpose then.
I think
Yeah.
on Trek culture they said it's like this was not an Easter egg. That was almost certainly an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That feels like an Easter egg to me. That feels
Yeah.
like if you name the movie Labyrinth, famously Gates McFadden was the
Yeah.
I can't think of the right word. Choreographer.
Choreographer.
Yes.
Yeah.
on
Credited
Labyrinth.
as Cheryl when she is a choreographer.
Yes, Cheryl McFadden.
Cheryl
There.
McFadden.
And then oubliette. It's just a silly, fun word. So.
Mhm.
that
Oh,
makes
also,
it really creepy.
Beverly Alert for X-Men 97 this week for those who have caught up.
Ooh,
She Gates McFadden voices a character.
Oh wow,
Fun.
very cool.
That's cool.
I cannot think of her name right. The librarian. I love her, and I want to be her. And I love that
Tyrell?
she doesn't act like a story like a librarian you see in TV. She acts like actual librarians. Of just being like, I will follow the rules, but I will follow them in my way.
And also that kind of like I've been all not alone completely,
Yeah.
but they've been isolated, so they're a little bit more quirky, I think, because they
Yeah.
got their own,
Now there is 1,000 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought that Michael Burnham said, like,
That's
oh,
true.
there's like 1,000
But
souls, like on that.
Their I mean
thing.
their culture has kind of been
There are
isolated. to their own.
there are 1,000 librarians. Like it's
Wow.
not like and it's 1,000 of the same type of person.
Well, I took it differently, but
How did you take it?
I was just thinking, I realized in this moment that I'm like, actually something that doesn't act, that does not matter. And that's one of my, but I just took it as like, oh, well, they must have engineers and a
That's
bridge somewhere.
Yeah.
But yes, a bunch
somewhere to move
of
around the
libraries
Badlands.
too.
Yeah.
Well, if she was going to go get the defenses ready, then they can't be like she, like, what is she doing then?
because I did think that's not somebody else's job. That's your job.
Yeah,
Like-
that's what. Yeah, maybe it's like Mr. Atos. There's just one of her, and there's just like lots of copies.
Maybe they're all actually in like a coal chute to power it. All manual labor. It's actually very problematic. They just didn't show it.
Oh.
Starfleet is very concerned. They're going to send a strongly worded letter.
I thought her scene where she gave Buck, the little box, and then he opened it, and it was like
That
the
was
roots of the plan, and
Yeah.
he like
sweet. And
broke
for once, the
down.
book came and visited her. That was.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
once
made
mhm.
this point to Aaron. I love one that they made it think it was like this was given to us. We didn't take it, and also the of course you can have your artifact back.
Take note, British Museum
Yeah,
Yeah,
like what?
and many
Yeah.
other museums.
It's just easy to make fun of the British Museum because why do you have the Rosetta Stone? Like
yeah.
that's
When they're flying in, I love her line to it, like, please follow the instructions precisely and do not deviate.
Yeah.
The archive is not responsible for any damage, dismemberment, or death that may result in your failure to do so.
I thought this comparison less as the episode went on, but at first I was like, she reminds me of tour guide Barbie. Like,
Sure.
I would say she reminded me of Talin a little bit. Your caution is warranted. Statistically, ensigns serving under recently promoted commanders are more likely to experience death and or dismemberment. It's got that kind of like look to it, feel to it. But yeah, she's like the highlight for me for the show. I think
She was. I
the
had the
episode.
thought of I want to cosplay her. I have no ability to do that makeup.
We can figure
Uh,
that out.
So you're
That,
gonna cosplay Hyrel?
that I have no ability to make anything that she's wearing. So that's a pipe dream.
I
I
mean,
don't
I feel
know how
like you
to
could
sew
just do
that.
like a silver dress in that shape and a blonde wig, and people will get it.
That's true. I want her necklace. I want the book necklace.
I can make that for you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my theory. Is obviously progenitor tech plus the roots equals Quajon, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's.
If it's not, then that's like a really weird.
Oh my
like,
gosh! Wow, really? Ooh, wow! Ooh, wow!
But the planet will be tiny. Just
oh, tiny.
what is it? A planet for ants?
That's funny.
Um,
But yeah, I'm actually curious. Like, what does it bring back specifically? Like, it's a root because they had that in their collection for a very long time. So it's not
Yeah.
like it doesn't have the whatever at that moment when it was destroyed or anything. So I don't know.
no, I'll be interested. I imagine
Yeah.
maybe it just brings back the planet so they can at least like
Restart.
the culture.
Yeah.
Yes, equation for ants. Oh, no, it's funny. Right before she said the book pun, I thought she was gonna make that weird comment about like your name doesn't sound like you're from Quajon. Like,
My
Well,
question
that
is like,
would
if
be
we're
racist, and she proved that she is culturally sensitive.
yeah, that's
You don't
true.
sound like you're from
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Wow, Rachel.
The amount of times, oh god, the amount of times when I like first moved back, like for college, and when I was like, "Where'd you go to school?" Japan. You don't look Japanese, really. Like,
That's not what I said.
shocking.
yeah, I didn't say I was Japanese. So,
Tisk tisk.
One thing I
Uh,
did notice about the whole library, talking about cultures, is like, does every culture have the exact same type of book? Because like it's filled with tons and tons, but those are like
Okay.
human books, like
I
human books
have-
from the 50s and earlier.
I have a theory, which is this is actually how human libraries used to work. Is that
Mhm.
book binding was actually really cheap, and all the fancy books is the like fancy library owners would go and bound their books so they matched each other.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
have them bound. And I'm
And somewhere
assuming
they're
they did that.
real ones are in archives or something.
Yeah. And some of them they did
Yeah.
that for the aesthetics.
That's a great theory. I think
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Because also having all of that stuff out at one time would be kind of dicey. You wouldn't really want to do that, I would think. Kind of like what the Smithsonian does or whatever. The vast majority of that stuff is not on
Out.
display, I think. Yeah.
It's like the stuff they know people want to see and will come to the Smithsonian to see will be out.
Like
but...
the Enterprise.
Yeah, it's the Enterprise. The ruby red slippers. I'm wearing
Yep.
Wizard of Oz shirt. So that's
They got stolen, right? And then they got them back, and that's a whole other podcast,
it's
actually.
not the Smithsonian's pair. That did happen to a
Oh,
pair
okay.
of ruby red slippers. It's not the pair of the Smithsonian.
Oh, I thought you were
Got it.
For a second, I thought you were talking about the plot of the movie, and I was going to go into a whole rant about Dorothy being a total C word, stealing those shoes. And I cannot wait for Wicked.
Oh,
I am so hyped. Does everyone
Me
here know
too.
that my favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz? That I collect Wizard of Oz memorabilia? That is.
I did not know
I
that.
do.
Oh wow, okay.
That's
do.
a thing. That's why I went for a literary shirt, and of course my literary shirt is
Oh.
Wizard of Oz. So
Look at that.
I am so hyped for
Impressive.
Wicked, and you do not want me to start talking about Wicked on the Star Trek podcast because it won't end.
The trailer was everything.
The trailer was so good,
Yeah.
and I
watched it like
the one thing is I've seen everyone understands for that trailer it's a musical, right? Because I've seen people saying they're trying to hide it, and I was like, I feel like they aren't.
no, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not hiding it at all.
Other trailers for movie musicals have been zero music. This,
Yeah.
like, it didn't show them actually singing and dancing in it, but
But
it was a good
my thing
hybrid.
is, one, Wicked's a musical that's been running for 20 years, but The Wizard of Oz is also a musical. So I think people already associate Oz with musicals.
Mm.
I didn't know it was a musical, but then
No,
I
but
haven't.
I
I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah,
Uh,
I do feel that I saw the whole movie after just one trailer. I'm like, I don't want to see anything else. Thank you very much.
There are other things. There are other songs, I swear.
There are other things.
I feel like a lot of
It's
people
going to
have
be
been
the
talking
juicy
about it.
details that they fill in, though. Like it definitely this trailer definitely did tell you the whole rough story of at least the first act, which is the only good part. And yeah, that's not
You
true.
mean the first movie? Because I
Act two
assume they're
has
still splitting it into two. 'Cause that's the
they
thing.
are. That was what I thought was weird that it didn't say part one
That's
on it.
people who say they're
It just
hiding
said
the fact
Wicked
that
on
it's a
it.
two-part movie. That's absolutely correct.
If you're just tuning in, welcome to Wicked Trailer
Yeah,
First Reactions.
Sorry. My fault.
I made the
my fault,
mistake
sorry.
of mentioning that. That was
Yeah,
my fault.
sorry.
That's my bad. Yeah.
I apologize to you guys.
I
Can't
did
conjure up a
I did
musical
not
with
film my
gays in the
reaction
chat.
to the Wicked trailer because I was in the office and I didn't wait to watch it. So I
Oh, I was fully
Um,
late to a meeting by 3 minutes. I was like, I'm watching this.
yeah, good. I was like, what else in the actual thing? Oh, it's I know Aaron. There was two things I thought, which yeah, I have ADHD. It's really easy to derail me, and The Wizard of Oz is one of my special interests. So I is that there were books we thought would show up, like one we thought Alice in
right.
Wonderland would show up, and then you had a theory when they went to they mentioned going learning about the Dominion War.
All the Dominion War books. I was like,
Yeah.
I was waiting for a book by Jake Sisko to be somewhere in there because that would have been super
would've
easy
been
to have
cool.
just shown.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it's like, come on.
Now I'm headcaning the Jake Sisko book in there.
I thought about this as well. I did wonder why they didn't give us more, but then I realized like it does technically mostly take place in her mind.
That's
And then-
true. Yeah.
And then we'd be having the same conversation, but wondering okay, so she became a Dominion War enthusiast when she came into the future.
Well, she is like she read a lot about the Breen, I'm assuming, so she probably did because
That's
somehow
true.
she was going through something in her brain. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But that was my thinking. It was like, it's in her mind. But yeah, I definitely wish we had more of those Easter eggs too, because it would have been super. It would have been fun and not overly egregious fan service for people like us.
I mean,
it would
it's
be
where
like-
that fits actually.
It would actually like, yeah, Jake was a writer like that. Why wouldn't?
And
he
I
have a
imagine
book
he's
in
like
there?
later in his life, he becomes a prominent writer about
Yeah.
that time period just because of his
between living
involvement.
through it.
Yeah.
His like maybe he would
His
have
dad.
like I'm sure people would want like stories about his father,
Yeah.
who is as far as we know in Star Trek canon not around. I don't.
Tales of the occupation. What
Yeah.
Wayun didn't want you to
Yeah.
know.
I said like they should come across that like really depressing article he writes when he's stuck on that planet where everyone's dying with Bashir.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Like,
No, but I was, when they were in the library, I was like, there has to be a book in here or some volumes on like the Time War from the Enterprise. I would have loved
yeah.
to seen some books, like just like a quick shot of like a volume or two about the Time War. Read this.
Or even that book that the captain had. What am I trying to say? Archer had the astronomy book as a kid.
The astronomy book.
That
Yeah.
one,
Oh, yeah.
the A to Z or whatever. Yeah, that could have been kind of. It could be like on one of those little displays or whatever in the corner.
Yeah, that would be cool.
do you think it's like the Library of Congress where they're just like, this is a culturally important book, even if it's not rare, we're gonna throw it in there.
Maybe.
Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that begs the question: how does that quadri of librarians select what's important? Or
Well, it seems
So,
like
yeah.
a lot of the artifacts are given to them by the cultures, so I guess it's up to
Yeah.
the culture
Oh.
to decide to them what is important to them, which
And
I
I
think is
think they're
probably
just-
the good way to go around that.
It's less a museum than it is just
Yeah.
a place to go. So I think
Yeah.
okay,
I think displaying it probably isn't their main focus.
okay,
And
so
yeah,
the,
they
okay,
seem
so
like an archive, like a storage facility.
They
More.
want to
Yeah.
preserve.
It's almost
yeah.
like
Right.
it's almost like archive is the word for that.
They're book preservers.
Yeah.
the book.
The
okay.
progenitors, preservers. Oh, there's the connection.
Okay, so by that logic, they are sort of like librarian stewards, I guess, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're almost like that seed bank or whatever that we saw in the first when they first arrived in the 32nd
Oh
century,
yeah.
which is for books and knowledge.
No, that's a good connection.
You know- I was
I
really
do-
bothered by how much sand Michael was pouring out. I was like, girl, like you're pouring out too much sand. Like that
was a
sand's gonna
lot.
take you like 10 feet. And then I realized that it was in her mind. I was like, okay, well, like the sand, like
I
it
had the
just like
same
never.
thought.
I-
Like,
Yeah.
that's a small bucket, Michael. Calm down.
I was
Like,
like,
I just want
dude,
somebody to
I
go by.
would've
It's
been,
like,
sprinkling like
oh
my
my,
God,
okay.
it's so
I
slow.
just
I want-
remembered this joke
I
where
want-
she was like,
I'm
"I wish it was Tilly who was here."
That was so good.
It's such a good.
It was so good. And then later when Book said Tilly would have been just as frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It did
I
make
wanted-
me like I want to see a version where it's Mary Wiseman doing that.
I wanted somebody to come
No.
by and it's like, who do you think's going to clean all this sand up? It's just like a random person who's like being the cleaner. It's like,
Yeah, no,
What
but
are
it
you
would have
doing?
been like
Marina
like
Sirtis.
like
Cameo.
yeah, like during that scene, like I just thought of like one thing. I was like, I hate sand. It gets everywhere and it's sticky. I hate it.
it's coarse and irritating. God.
No,
yeah,
no,
of course
this-
it's irritating.
Anakin is
no.
not wrong about that.
no. We're supposed to be comparing it to Doctor Who this week, not Star Wars.
Okay, right.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
But no, I think I maybe mentioned this earlier, but I was like, when they started doing creepy stuff with shadows, I was like, I've seen this before.
It was
Well,
less
I was
creepy and
already
more like
thinking
just a warning of like what's
Yeah.
coming.
I was already thinking Space Library anyway, so that when it started doing shadow stuff, I was like, hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
I've
Does
seen that.
anybody else
Alien.
want to know how they got that behemoth through the Badlands? Like there's got to be a back door, right?
Yeah.
To the Badlands.
Yeah, there's got to be there.
Do
Like-
they make a deal with a Q? Like,
Yeah, oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
there's a Q
Yeah, but
artifact in there.
yeah. There probably is a Q artifact in there,
Yeah.
right?
Every 50 years they get a free.
Yeah.
To
It's
be-
it's
to
something
transport
from
to
Picard's library or something that Q stole.
Yes. Well, maybe
something
that's
he
it.
found with
It
Dash.
becomes a quantum library, the whole
Oh, there
thing,
you
and
Oh, wow.
I'm surprised that the Breen, are so like formidable. Like they've got like this like huge ship that like Discovery can't like do anything like against. I mean, doesn't Discovery have upgraded weapons? Like, is there any ship like in the Federation that could like like battle the Breen ship?
Typically, I think what it's that typically you would have like if you were going to go battle the Breen, they would just come with this one big ship, and you would come with a bunch of ships.
One thing that would be cool to see, although I'm sure there's animation issues or something, but they always said that the nacelles were detached for better navigability. Is that a word? It would be cool if we had actually saw them kind of independently
Better-
moving, like trying to
Yeah,
move the ship through or something. That could have been kind of cool.
I did.
Better
love-
navigation.
I
That's what-
did love the venting to like make it look like they've been destroyed. I was like,
That
that's
was
a
cool.
good. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a good plan. Like, dude, that one asshole who was about to destroy that library, and I was like, I will somehow punch this fictional character if you like burn the Library of Alexandria down. I will punch this fictional character, which would hurt a lot because he's wearing that mask. Like, yeah, I keep thinking about how much I liked the librarian. Just like every line was like so good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
at
and that-
first we thought it was a person who does voiceover work for like Audible and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
sounded
Yeah.
so much like her, and it
she
looks
sounds
similar.
familiar. She looks familiar, but
Yeah.
then when I looked her up on IMDb,
Yeah.
I didn't know her. I was like, oh,
Yeah, like
one of those faces.
she'd been in enough that I was like, I've definitely seen this woman before. Like she's in an
Mhm.
episode of Schitt's Creek, so I'm sure I've seen her.
that
But
may
like,
be it.
but I'm like,
She's
I don't
not
think
a-
she made it enough of an impression of me in Schitt's Creek. That like,
Yeah. And that
No,
kind of
but-
character could very easily be annoying, but she played it super well. Like she didn't go
Yes.
too ditzy. She
Yeah.
didn't go too
Yeah.
too fluttery.
At first, I was
Um,
like, "Is she from Malibu or something?"
Yeah. Yes. We in California know that
Yeah.
personality well. It very easily could have been that kind of annoying. But,
like, yeah,
the
just her
right
like
dash
you know, like The conversation with the Breen didn't go well. Or whatever.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was her, I would be coming back in to be like, it didn't go well, but let me tell you what I said to them because it was fire. Like,
Is this 100 years ago? Because they got burned.
Yeah.
oh, the stupid little hand gestures.
What did you guys think of was it Reese? Who was in command of the ship?
Was it Reese that was in the command of the ship? I don't.
Yes, it was Reese. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job.
Yeah. And he looks hot in that chair. Let's be honest.
He
You
did
know,
look good.
So one thing that I kind of hated, like, why did they get rid of Owo and Detmar? Like,
See, I
think
had
it's
the same question
scheduling.
3 weeks ago.
I really wanted to see them.
In universe,
Exactly.
in
Thank you,
universe,
Braxton.
in universe, they're moving the ISS Enterprise.
I don't care. I wanna
Very
see them.
slowly because there's no warp drive. Remember,
Yeah.
it was the intermix
of
chamber was
universe.
removed.
Out of universe,
Ah.
either there was something with pay or they're filming something else.
Mm.
For like the
I heard
same
it was a scheduling issue for a lot of things, including in this episode. You notice when the operations officer changed, like there was
Mhm.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Like I sent them to work on the shields. Great idea. Like, well, that's random. It's like
There was also-
the day that they filmed that scene, that other actress just wasn't available.
Hmm.
I think
There
there were.
was
I
also
think
a-
because of COVID protocols still in place, because
Yeah.
that's something I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
This was filmed like a year and a
There
half
was-
ago.
And
Yeah.
And I noticed
So they still had-
later, there is a scene with Anthony Rapp earlier in the episode. I think there was a day that like there's a while for the episode, everything with Anthony Rapp is over like the speakers. That I was like, did they not have Anthony for like a day?
That happened with Tig last season. They had her for a limited amount of time and had to do some trickery to fit things into it. Yes, that's what she was doing. Emily Coots was making a short film.
Oh,
Um,
well, yeah. There's one. Good for her.
yeah, and Doug Jones has said that he was promoting Hocus Pocus 2 for a good chunk while filming.
I saw that, and he got home right. Like the actor that was playing Reese, apparently his wife was in labor while he was filming that.
mm,
Oh.
Oh,
I'm like, well, you're not
Did-
going to forget that day, but also I
Yeah.
hope
no.
you got
Did
to
he
your
make
baby.
it?
Like, yeah.
I hope he made it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't like, and it wasn't distracting to me that it was just like, I was just like, why is that line over speakers and not, why didn't you
Yeah.
cut to
Anthony.
him?
I will say,
Although when we did,
I'm enjoying these new people, and I think if they were doing this from the beginning, because this show is not Bridge Crew,
Yeah.
it's not Formula Star Trek, it's Michael Burnham and some other characters. I do not say to be condescending at all. I like when Star Trek does something different. I think something that hurt them was having the same people in those positions for so long and then not giving us much. If they did what they've been doing this season, where like they're like, okay, now the action is happening during Alpha Shift. Now it's
Yeah.
happening during Delta Shift. So of course the captain's going to be there,
Mhm.
no matter who the current pilot is. If I love all of those actors and wish that they did give us more of them,
Mhm.
but had they been doing this from the get go, I think that criticism of the show would have been tampered.
Mhm.
I love Disco. Everybody knows that here. But the one thing I've always said about Disco of like, oh, Alex and other writers, why didn't you do the Michael Pillar thing? Why did you do that? Because it's really annoying to me that we are expected to care about the bridge crew adjacent in some moments, but they don't give us enough of
Yeah,
them
like
to
Ariam.
make us care.
Mhm.
Like Ariam, for example. I love Kayla Detmer, but I had to read a book to know a little bit more about Kayla Detmer. Do you know how frustrating that is? And I
we
like the
did-
book.
Mhm.
there was a comic book run that I did covers for where it was Adventures in the 32nd Century. You learn about Linus and like you get a little bit more of their characters at least, but it's like
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
it had to go to a comic book to do it.
Yeah. Like that will always be my number one failing of Discovery if I'm discounting the wibbly
burn.
wobbly the wibbly wobbly behind the scenes stuff that I don't really like to acknowledge anymore because I'm just tired of thinking about it. But that's just me.
No, I agree. Sometimes I wish Discovery had like maybe a couple more episodes per season, so you could spend an episode
Yeah, that would be nice.
On a side character. This like if short treks had stuck around, this feels like they could have also done those. But
yeah, I mean, could you guys just imagine like if they if they still do like they could have still done the thing with Arian that they were going to do, but could you imagine them building up Arian's story over selective episodes, and the last episode they finally get to it, and actually we would actually care when Michael presses her face up against the glass and sees Aram sucked out into space. But I don't care because I don't know that much about Aram.
For the record, I did care because
you,
I have empathy for people I don't know that much about anyway.
That's true. I'm just a crier, so
yeah. But no, ever since then though, every time we get like even a hint of a backstory about somebody, I was like, oh, that person's gonna die.
I'm like, oh no.
Who was it?
Yeah.
Who was it this season?
Locke?
No.
No.
Oh, Raynor. As soon as we started learning more about him, I was like, he's gonna die. He still might. I don't know.
Still might.
I hope he doesn't.
See, that was okay.
It just teaches you need to be distant if you want to survive.
Me in season 3, once I accepted that Vance wasn't evil, I was convinced he was gonna die. Because I was like, no, there's too much backstory. And look, he's still around. Good for him.
He could die. There's still time.
There's still time.
They all could die.
They all could
I
die.
love that they didn't go with the Admiral trope with him, for sure.
My favorite thing was watching that live was everyone just being like, is he not evil?
Well, you know what's funny is like
we all just assumed
there are more good admirals than bad in Trek. It's just that it some of the really good juicy ones have been so in your face about
the
it.
ones you spend time with that are not captains you've seen be promoted.
Yeah. Well, and even an admiral like Admiral Nechayev, she was never bad, but she did have conflict with Picard.
That was I would not consider her a bad admiral. She is not evil. She just had a tough job.
Yeah.
She's not trying to commit treason like half the other admirals.
Yeah. Admiral Clancy, because of that clash with Picard, some people consider her. I was like, no. She wasn't evil. She was correct.
I just wanted to punch Admiral
it's
Clancy
interesting
in the
what
face.
the female admirals are allowed to get away with, and what
Yeah.
the male admirals are literally. I can't think of his name right now, but the admiral in that Deep Space Nine two-parter who fucks with the power grid.
And home soil or home, not home soil, home. Maybe that is what home front.
Homefront and Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
When we have the what's her name,
favorites,
the woman who is
Dr.
played by the same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, maybe it's because I'm gay and I'm like, yes, all women. I did not notice that it was the same actor until like a ridiculously recent.
I'll admit something right now. Right now is where I found that.
Yeah, her hair was up. It was different. Okay.
I don't know.
You said it right now. If you
put on a hat, you're a completely different person to me.
If you look back at me right now, I'm probably like, oh my god.
Was it Sherry
you have
Shepherd's
Lois
character
Lane-itis?
Yes.
Well,
Yes, it's very Sherry Shepherd's character in Trial and Error had
Somebody else.
every episode she had a different ailment, all real things, and the really funny one was she didn't recognize faces. So anybody that would walk in, she'd be like, "Who are you?" Even though it was somebody that she had been interacting with 5 minutes earlier.
Very short, tiny, just like
I love that show.
The Scooby-Doo Superman or Super Friends crossover or whatever, they're talking to Lois Lane and Velma just takes her glasses off to clean them. It's like, where did Velma go? And it's just like, what? So yeah, it's been used. It's fun.
Great.
I love that joke, and I love that someone leaked it so we can see that joke. But no,
And now it's
funny.
officially out, apparently.
Oh, that's weird.
So yeah.
It's funny that I didn't recognize her, but there's an episode of Deep Space Nine. I think the episode where they go save Vic's casino, and they have the actor that plays Gowron as a human. And I looked at that man's eyes for 1 second and went, "That is Gowron." Like,
Well, doesn't he have very specific eye? Very
Yeah.
like
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a look.
those
Wait,
blue
wait,
yeah.
baubles.
Wait, in Bada Bing, Bada Bang, Galron,
Yeah.
Galron was in that?
No, so that actor plays a human in the.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
that
the
actor is. He's a security guard or something. They have to like get past him, and he's like sitting. God, let me.
I'll look it up while you.
Father,
Aaron,
This
you're
is
right.
the important part. Admiral
Father-
Layton,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Admiral
Brad
Layton, let
Mullen.
me-
Yeah, somebody.
His
somebody-
character in Babylon 5 had to be killed off because he was filming that episode.
Oh wow.
Oh,
No.
really?
Oh wow. No, I mean,
I've never
somebody-
seen Babylon 5. Was that a pretty like?
Oh,
It feels like it's a two-parter. Yes,
He's
that
that was really.
I
I can picture
literally-
that person looks so different, and not just because of obviously the Klingon makeup. I've
Yeah.
I've seen what he looks like in real life.
Yeah, I literally just his eyes. I looked at his eyes and was like, "That is Gowron."
Yeah, it's the eyes.
I had not seen what he looks like. Like I had not seen what Robert O'Reilly looked like in person when I watched that episode, and I was just like, I recognize those goddamn eyes.
Also, fun fact: same actor played a different Klingon in the best game that has ever been created, the Star
yeah.
Trek: The Next Generation VCR tie-in.
We played
Oh,
that
wait
at
a minute,
STLV in 2016.
Yes, I want to play it for the salon, and you all will be invited for that. It's just so
Oh.
good. You, the
cool.
one who is moving now,
I've
experience.
seen
Beach.
clips of that, but I've never like
Oh wait a
played
minute.
it.
Oh wait a minute. I actually had that. It's a
Me too.
VHS game, right?
Mhm.
It's a game with comes with a VHS and a board, right? I actually think
Yep.
I had that game.
I did too
Uh,
as a kid, and the video is now on YouTube, so you can play it. Or
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
VCRs do still exist
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. You,
In a
you can find one
similar
online.
vein, at Half Price Books the other month, I found like I can't remember the brand, but it was like one of those murder mystery games, but a TNG one, and I bought it. It was like in the sale section, so it was like
There's-
even cheaper than normal. But I was like got home and I was like, I need a cassette player for this.
There's also
You can go. A lot of those stuff was on eBay,
Probably.
on
I do
YouTube. now. You can-
technically have a cassette player, but it's like part of like my vinyl setup, so it's like a pretty loud thing.
Mhm. There's also a Voyager tabletop game that had a VHS where in the VHS the doctor walks you around through the game with like like I also had that one as a kid. I don't know what that game is
that's
Oh,
called.
that's
but-
fun. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think-
Somebody
I
remastered the
I
Q
have
game
Star
recently.
Trek seen it.
Mm.
If we, I guess I do like a DVD player is easier to find.
Yeah. But you know what
Um,
I'm having? You know what I'm having a hard time finding? I'm having a hard time finding a a DVD player and a Blu-ray player in one. Like I keep finding one or the other one, but I can't find the
Huh.
one that has both functions.
But
Like-
you can play DVDs on most Blu-ray players.
Yeah.
You could probably play it like on a PlayStation too, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
I would say
Right.
if it's a Blu-ray player, it can play a DVD.
Mm-hmm.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I put DVDs in I put DVDs on my PS4 all the time. That's
Right.
I will say some of those DVDs are starting to look real shit on my 4K TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually played one of my oldest DVDs the other day on my 4K TV and it looked like crap.
Yeah.
I was like I need to upgrade this movie ASAP. It was just bad.
There's a couple things that I have DVDs of they've never made Blu-rays for, so
Yeah, you got to keep those.
yeah. Deep Space Nine being one. I actually don't have Deep Space Nine DVDs, but
Yeah.
obviously Deep Space Nine. I keep holding out. Maybe one day they'll do a Blu-ray release, but probably not.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else in the actual episode. The problem is I just like this episode, so I was like, "There's nothing for me to nitpick." I'm like, "That was cool."
So now, did So Maul is the dude and Locke is the woman.
No.
No.
Maul is the woman, Locke is the
Okay.
dude.
So Maul, like, okay, so like, has she like taken over the Breen ship now? And, like, is that what's happened? I mean, she's like, ooh, like I'm the wife of dude Scion, and like we're gonna do something, and then
Yeah.
This
they're like,
faction, I
yeah,
think.
like
And
long live
not in all
Locke.
ways, but like she's kind of
Yeah.
pulling a Cersei where I'm in charge because my husband that is dead was in charge.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Actually, I'm really happy that she has stayed. Well, probably some of you are going to disagree with this, but I'm really happy that she has stayed on the path that she's on. Just to put it lightly, because I would use another word, but on another stream, I got sort of criticized for using that. I'm happy that she's staying evil. There, I said it. I'm happy that she's staying.
I
She
get it.
could have
She's
very
not-
easily
that
like, oh,
way.
well, they're going to destroy the library. I'm going to
Yeah.
go like now.
Yes.
This is what's going to convince me to go back to Starfleet or something, or to the Federation.
Right.
You
But
know,
yeah,
I feel like she's killed and she's done too many things. Like, I feel like I want her to die at the end of this. And
Yeah.
maybe like the dude is gonna come back to life, but like, she won't be
You know what?
alive anymore.
You know what? Braxton? Maybe it'll be like a Romeo and Juliet situation. Maybe she'll
Mm.
die right when
and then
right
Locke
when
will come back.
right when
no.
Locke comes back to life. She'll be like,
Right when he wakes up from his coma because he's not
Yeah.
actually dead.
right.
Because,
And then
because Friar Chuck did not make the instructions clear.
Yes.
Well, the whole idea is like it would rejuvenate, or whatever what the phrasing was. Like that doesn't necessarily mean bring back to life.
Right.
Or do we think maybe like it will bring back to life, but Locke won't be quite right?
Or maybe it's like a either
Yeah.
a Pet Cemetery version or a What We Do in the Shadows Colin Robinson version.
that's a
Anybody
that's a
seen
very
that?
that's
Reference
that's
Falling
very,
Flat. That's me.
Sorry, I've seen the movie a long time ago, and I still need to watch the show.
The show is incredible. I know
heard that.
I'm queen of distractions today, but
I've heard, everyone.
there's a
told me I need to
character
watch
that
the
goes
show.
through a rebirth, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious because he starts as a baby and then is immediately like a kid, but his adult face. It's so funny.
That's-
yeah.
It would be
actually-
amazing if that's what happens with Locke.
I
Baby Breen.
I've seen one episode of
it reminds me of something that happens in the
of
Buffy
that
comics.
series, and
So,
and I was in hysterics. I
um,
need to go
I was
back to
thinking,
that show.
do we think maybe it will be like, oh, Locke can come back, but Maul will have to Maul will have to actively sacrifice herself.
That would be acceptable.
Okay.
I will accept any situation where she actually dies. You know what? That's it.
I don't need her to die. I just,
But
I would not mind.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that was a bad idea. Like that's
I'm with
that-
you. We don't.
yeah. I was saying, like, that story-wise makes sense that Maul. I would like say it's even probable Maul is gonna die.
Yeah.
Speaking of death, it's the death of my participation on here. How's that for a segue? I gotta dip to get ready for the salon in half an hour.
Yeah,
At
everyone.
Salon Trek here on Twitter if y'all want to join.
Yeah,
and
everyone
Aaron, are
make
you
sure
going to
to
talk
join.
about all hands on decks?
Oh, now or
Well, I don't know if I'm never here at the end, so I don't know if
I
I'm
can do
just
that
being a
real
dick
quick.
plugging things or if people are supposed to plug things. But I'm also just going to throw out. I started lower. No, it's not going to let me because of the characters. Before lower, I was inspired by TNG season 8 by Mike McMahon's Twitter account that birthed Lower Decks at Lower Decks _ S6 is me. So I'm tweeting out a bunch of random season 6 plot lines. Speaking of
Okay.
admirals, I created a character called Admiral Not a Villain. Pushing out those hashtags and pushing for people to do the May 25th watch
That's-
along.
That is
I love
so
that.
cool.
That's so
you know what?
fun.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
that is
I'm
cool.
gonna go over to that.
I need to
that Twitter thing.
join that and then I'll retweet.
Yeah.
There you
Awesome.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so real
gotta-
quick, the idea is that on May 25th, we're gonna whenever your day May 25th starts, the idea is to run 24 hours that stream it off of whatever streaming service that you have that
Paramount.
runs it. Well, but not every place has
Not
that.
everybody.
Plus.
If you're like, yeah, if you were Canada's the one for sure I know doesn't have Paramount Plus.
So we can do that, and then at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Germany. Basically, just like three times. We're gonna have a live stream, and there's a bunch of people who are gonna kind of randomly come in and out. Jesse Gender is gonna join us. I invited Larry Nemechek, so he might pop in.
Oh, I love Larry.
Yeah.
Larry's so great.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about what we want to see in season 5 and beyond, and it's as much a celebration of Lower Decks as it is to like save it, because I mean I don't think we're not unrealistic or not we don't realistically think that they're going to like, oh wow, we got a whole bunch of people watching it, well uncancel it, like that's not going to happen. But maybe we'll end up getting like a movie or something.
movie?
Like just yeah.
My big thing with them is it's not just that it was canceled; it's the way that they went about doing it. So that they weren't allowed to do the final of their show. They didn't know ahead of time. That's always a bummer.
Always a bummer. Also, the like if we put it out on a Friday and put it out with Strange New Worlds getting renewed.
Yeah, that was. And that slided Strange New Worlds too, because
yes,
sort of like,
it was so weird because several of the actors were like retweeting, not realizing like, huzzah, look at us. It was like,
because I'm sure there's a couple, and then it's a couple like right away we're like, oh my god, sorry, I just read the rest of the article.
Yeah,
like well, because clearly they all knew it had been renewed, so they're like waiting for that article to drop so they could retweet it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I'm really disappointed that that CBS didn't decide to give Lower Decks its own day instead of like putting the cancellation of Lower Decks into a giant news dump like Stan said a couple weeks back.
That's it's a tactic to hope it will die over the weekend. The news, like
it's tactic.
I know that they did it to Prodigy too. The news of Prodigy came out on a Friday.
I didn't remember that.
And
I didn't remember
it's to hope it dies over the weekend. That is the idea of it.
But it's still not dead. We will never forget.
No. I remember
best website ever.
I mentioned this last time. I'm pretty sure I was at a convention dressed as Janeway, like when I dropped. So I was...
This animation does not run chunky when I have the wrong acceleration on for Chrome, so I could take screenshots basically. So this is much smoother on the actual site, but it's Save Star Trek lowerdecks.com, and we'll be putting like the link to the stream in there. We've got kind of our mission brief, like what you can do on that day with the hashtags, and you know the downloads.
Cool...
I mean, I should probably add some more stuff to that. But tomorrow we're going to be releasing our cocktail recipe, so that'll probably go in here too.
Yeah.
Cool. Such a good website.
Dedicated to John Trimble.
I was making jokes. I was like, okay, I've got to run to the liquor store to get these ingredients.
Get weed. Oh, sorry, not weed. Alcohol.
I live in the state of Texas. I cannot get that at a store.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have to go to a special store that's not open on Sundays for alcohol. For liquor.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Oh wow.
And I can't buy beer or wine before noon on Sunday.
What? This is in Texas, right?
This is in Texas, yeah.
Utah, I don't think you can buy it at all.
Wow. Okay.
So Baptists made our laws. It's the.
Oh wow. Oh no, because I mean I don't want to say that because that sounds shitty, but wow.
Were you gonna say you thought Texas had a bigger drinking culture than that?
Yeah, I did.
It's a mix of big drinkers and religious people who do not drink at all.
Okay, but you just said that, but I just automatically went, it's Texas. Of course everybody drinks in Texas. But I didn't take into account what you just said. Right?
You didn't take in fact that there was a ton of Southern Baptists here?
Yeah, I didn't I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So
where in the country do you think Southern Baptists live?
I think there's the dichotomy of what people think of Texas and Texans. Like there is the sort of like they'll do anything, they've got a gun, they could shoot, and they're going to drink and whatever and swear and but then there's actually the real percentage of them that are very religious. Which is where all that other stuff comes from.
We were talking about Young Sheldon before. That show takes place in Texas, and they are Southern Baptists.
Oh, really? I've never seen that show because I do not like The Big Bang Theory at all.
I have seen more of Young Sheldon than I have The Big Bang Theory, mostly because TikTok wanted me to watch it, and I think I brought this last time. I genuinely think I would have liked the show if it had nothing to do with The Big Bang Theory.
Uh,
Um,
it looks like, in all the commercials I've seen for it, because Paramount Plus is obsessed with running commercials
Yeah.
for the final season before every episode of Discovery. So it's like I keep getting, and I watch Paramount Plus a lot for other shows as well, but I keep getting that annoying commercial in my pre-commercial right before my thing starts.
yeah. As Jill, it's way better. And there's also, a thing where, like, they have to keep retconning stuff from The Big Bang Theory because they made the characters too likable to do what they said. So they basically have had to be like, actually, Sheldon was an unreliable narrator because we don't want to make his dad a cheating asshole. Because we made the character too likable.
Oh, okay.
What? I'm trying to think of anything else for the episode.
The Stamets and Adira, the whole, like, they're basically they're war particles from like Janeway and B'Elanna. That's totally what I thought of when I saw that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I loved Jet Reno being like, I love this. Like,
and Hesperia. This is we think the first time outside of the Strange New Worlds crossover that Lower Decks has been referenced in live action. Hesperia is where Billy Billups comes from, the Ren Fair planet.
One, she's right. They do party well. I want to hang out with them. Like,
they do party well.
Oh my god!
Oh my!
Oh my god! What is that? Oh, that's your cat.
My cats got into it. Like, you see them in there, like they were they were over there fighting for a second.
I didn't see them, but I heard them.
They're so funny. What is that?
I knew what it was, and I was like, "Oh no!"
If we watch the playback at 101, we'll see the altercation.
Unfortunately, I think your name is over where they were.
Yeah.
Oh,
we could
no.
see a little bit, but yeah.
So I just kind of saw like meow and then a paw.
I just saw. I just saw.
That actually made it funnier.
One of them book it upstairs. Yeah.
There it goes.
There you go. Father found a different. It is still cool to get a Lower Decks reference, though, especially like because Romulan whiskey, Hesperia is. I like it. One of the sillier things got mentioned.
I don't remember the spider cow, huh? All right. I will go back and check that out.
This episode was just
season 4. I didn't see all of season 4. That's probably why I didn't.
This episode was just a whole lot of fun, and I like Rachel and like a lot of people on the panel. I love how chipper the librarian was, and at first it was kind of off-putting, but then after sitting down listening to this conversation and could have understanding that these people have been marooned on this. In this place for so long.
Marooned with a bunch of books. Sense. There are worse things that could happen to a person. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Also, you'd have to be a certain personality to deal with all the different types of people that you would have to, all the different races and stuff. You'd have to have a little bit of like that perky public.
Right.
I mean this in the best way. She reminded me of like a children's librarian of like just very patient, very fun, very like quirky usually.
Yeah.
And I said that as someone who would like the patience to be a children's librarian. Between the patience to just be a librarian, you like. Also, real librarians are heroes. The libraries have no fucking funding.
Yeah. Enter.
Yeah.
Enter.
The beeping. It's like,
hello, number one. How can I help you? No, sorry.
I think that's Voyager, isn't it? That sound.
Maybe.
No, I think that's TNG, right?
Speaking of sound, real quick, when Culber is scanning Burnham at first. The very last sound is something from TOS. It goes.
What is it?
And it's like a computer like boop beep boop boop thing from the bridge
computer
or something.
boop. Okay.
Yeah, there's just like a one. If you listen, it's like the one last tone. I'm just like, wait, I know that. That was weird.
Is there like a website where somebody has compiled all this, like all sorts of different? Because I could find them on YouTube.
And
Trekcore has done.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of them. Not everything, but they have a ton.
But a bunch of.
I mean, that's the most you're gonna find is
probably
Because
if anyone has more than Trekcore, I'm legitimately impressed. Like.
Okay. No, because the reason I say this is because sometimes, I mean, this is a really nerdy thing I do, but I take like the atmosphere of certain Star Trek bridges and I like put them in my editing software, and I put certain sounds on top of ambient noise of like the Enterprise engine or whatever.
Oh, it's definitely a thing
I
where people will fall asleep to ambient Star Trek noise.
I like last night I fell asleep to the night shift sound of the Enterprise D during night
Mhm.
shift. I made like this giant loop of like 30 minutes.
Um,
That was the name of our improv show that was said in Star Trek. I was like, wait, what? Okay, never mind. You're not talking about our show. That's good.
um, I agree with this comment that it felt very Willy Wonka in a good way of like you had passed the test. We were
Yeah.
fucking with you.
It would
Yeah.
have been like, oh no, there wasn't a test.
To be fair, to be fair, there's a very Starfleet thing to do. There's a lot of fucking with you test.
It feels like the
Yeah.
Wesley Crusher, like when he went to that
Test.
place
See,
where he.
Exam.
I was Wesley Crusher
Yeah.
and that short trek with Pike.
Oh yeah, yep,
Um,
Right.
have
yeah.
we
She
seen-
should be used to that.
Generally, I'm trying to. Have we seen a female Breen? I don't know why I think that is the Breen that Rainer's been talking about. Was that a woman?
Oh yeah, you're right. It would have been.
I think
I think he said she. He said like more than
she.
once.
So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
you're right.
We've
So there
heard
is.
of a Breen
Yeah, we
female.
just haven't
have
seen
not
one.
seen her. Though.
Okay, maybe
But
she'll
they
show
keep-
up in the last couple
They
episodes.
keep mentioning her though,
Yeah,
so I feel like she might show up.
yeah.
And I kind of hope she shows up and it's like,
It takes over Maul's spot.
yeah, or like I kind of hope it's like she shows up and it's just like, no, that guy was just a fucking asshole. Like,
Let's all go party.
yeah, I saw that as a theory too that one of the Breens is in disguise, mostly because I can't figure out what the vibe of that one Breen is. Also, his voice sounded familiar, but I wasn't sure what that character's name was, so I didn't know how to look it up.
Although I don't feel like Non wouldn't be that like lovely towards Maul.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that.
Also, I think we heard it talking. It definitely wasn't Non's voice unless it's using a voice changer.
Well, yeah, I was like that. It was funny when you were talking about voice changer. He's like, oh, we'll speak the Federation or whatever standard so Maul can understand. I'm like, no, because your voice is irritating when it's in English. It's like I have to
See,
find the less
thing is-
irritating.
And
than him.
I did not. Okay, I thought they needed to do a little bit more of a drop shadow on the subtitles they were using.
They've never had good luck with subtitles. Like when they did the Klingon stuff. Ugh.
But I did see them avoiding the Klingon thing. I was just being like, let's. But I'm noting like when I have to make stuff for the other podcast I'm in, someone was like, I can tell Rachel made this. So like, why? He's like, she put a huge drop shadow on it. I was like, yeah, but you can read it. Like
The GIF that I made, the "May you gain knowledge elsewhere," has like a dark black outline around
Yeah.
it, so you can actually see the text.
Nothing's worse than not being able to this is my only real graphic design tick. Make sure you can fucking read the text. I don't like.
That's just nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's UI and UX. Speaking of, it's nice that every apparently hologram in the universe has the same. They knew what to do. Like they closed it down like this, and I'm like, okay, the progenitors technology works exactly the same as, and the Breens, and yeah, it was just
Also,
like,
the clues aren't progenitor technology, right? The clues were made
yeah,
by the.
oh,
the
that's
clues
true.
are
Yeah,
made by the team.
right.
Who are
But
Starfleet
still,
people.
yeah, but they're 800 years ago.
They
and it's
are
like,
800 years ago. To be fair, maybe Zora's just making it work for them.
Oh,
Like
no.
they went like
No,
that
because
and-
it was this. It did the same thing when it was on the
Yeah.
Breen ship, though.
Oh, that's true. I like the idea though that sometimes they're like, it's not working, and Zora's like, let me do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it. Step away, child.
I
I'll
wonder if
do
we're
it.
gonna get any more of with Zora. Actually, the rest of the.
Yeah, I hope we do. I like her a lot. I feel like we should always be getting Zora because she's the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm obsessed with, guys, when we do get to the finale in what, like
Too short of time.
not too
Yeah.
short of time. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. I was looking for a word and I couldn't find one. I really hope that like during the final episode, during the credits, I mean this will be an inside baseball thing, if they do a quick shot of the Enterprise in space somewhere, and then just off in the distance you see the ship from that guy coming to board Discovery. I think that'll be a really nice nod to the folks who actually enjoyed that short trek of Calypso.
Oh.
I mean, I
really
enjoyed
did.
it, but I think our answer was it was a dream.
No. Yeah, it was a dream. Well,
Yeah.
It also because he has sort of a little bit of a book-ish to him,
He does.
and I feel like maybe that's like
That's how
That'd be
kinda pulled that
confusing people.
information in or something.
Right.
Either
right,
that
right,
or
yeah,
they
it'll be
do
confusing.
rebuild Quajon and then no, I guess I say that, but it's
What'd
like
he say?
Quajon
Sorry,
can.
I was distracted by Joel's joke. There was Bill was he filming with another starship this season?
That's funny. So wait. Is she
Yeah, I
having?
think she was
a-
in Guardian of
wait,
the Galaxy or something.
Yeah. So
I mean, that
so
actress
wait,
might
Joel.
have been too busy. I don't know, but
Yeah. Is she seeing another starship or what? Or what? Are they like a thing?
Oh yeah, like that'd be interesting. Like, does she have any kind of relationship with the other AIs in Starfleet? I'm
maybe.
assuming they're more than just her.
There has to be more than just one.
I mean, if we've got the Doctor being sentient and
Mhm.
800, 900 years
do
previous,
you
then
think? Do you think hypothetically the Doctor is still alive?
well,
It's
if not the
possible, it's
Doctor's
possible.
replacement, the backup Doctor that was from
Oh,
the
yeah.
planet with. We figured it out. He would have arrived about 50 years before the burn. So yeah, he could totally be there.
Yeah.
That's why I was hoping we'd see him Voyager J. We'd see him like on the bridge or something as the captain
Yeah,
with his little ECH thing. But
That'd be really cool.
that would be fun. That does feel like a one of those Easter eggs. Where they might be like that. That might be too much, guys.
yeah, no, totally.
Also,
Someone
you
would
have
have
to
a
get
complaint about it.
Also, Robert Ricardo would have to be like, okay, can you get to Canada for like 1 second of stream time?
Well, maybe they could film it here because of that.
They
They
probably could.
put it on a green screen. I
Um,
mean, he's working with Prodigy. He's working on
Yeah.
with them, so it's just the hologram, the Prodigy, the 3D one.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
it's just the Prodigy animation. Like,
That'd be no, but I mean, look. As someone who isn't over the moon thrilled with Prodigy, like the moment that I heard that Robert Carr was going to be in, I was like, I'm a huge Voyager stan, so I like lost my mind. I was like, no way.
I'm a doctor, not a butler, or whatever he said when they
Yeah,
like,
but
didn't
yeah,
want to
but
carry
I'm-
this stuff in.
I
I'm a
mean-
doctor,
Hellboy
not a
or-
butler.
when they played that clip at when they played that clip at Vegas, I was like, oh, thank God they put it online because we were cheering so loud I did not hear what he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like what Jill said, that the poor library in Toronto is going to get a ton of unwanted Trekkies.
I already was like looking. I was like, this is a place that's
Yeah.
open to the public, right? I'm sorry.
I think
for-
it's open to the public at certain times.
Yeah. Well, because
Because I was thinking it's like,
I think it's part of a university, right?
yeah, and it's also like, it's the equivalent of that real life.
Yeah.
I mean, because there are a lot of, they showed, they have this great library of Alice in Wonderland. And they had this one book that you open up and you read it like through it, like you're falling down the rabbit hole. It was just like
wow.
this really cool thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
So, and they have
cool.
like the first Handmaid's Tale draft and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So, yeah, a lot of
Oh,
really-
like the first, like the actual book, or like the first draft of the pilot.
the first draft that she wrote. That
No, the
that,
book. The book.
Oh,
Because
the
I
book,
think
okay.
Margaret Atwood
The
is a
book.
Canadian.
Margaret
so I
Atwood.
think-
Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
Right. The book. the book.
Because I want to go there. Who wants to take a trip to Canada? Is everyone here is American? Yeah.
I
Is
would-
everyone's
I need to get a
passport up to
passport.
date? Yeah.
Yes. No, actually, I for some weird reason, because I never go anywhere, I actually got my passport updated like 2 months ago, and I never go anywhere. I don't know why I did it. I was like, you know what?
I want to get it just in case whatever happens with our election. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go now.
I would have go. I would
think
have.
I
I'm
might
gonna
need-
go
I
over
actually
there.
might be coming up. I might need to do that this year, or maybe next year.
Call my friends in Canada or
Mm-hmm.
Australia or something. Like, hi, can I come and visit for 4 years
I can get
for 4
Austrian
years?
citizenship.
or forever?
Mhm.
Australia would be fun.
Yeah, but
No, sorry, I can get
No, but-
Austrian. Is what I can
Oh,
get
Austrian.
Austrian citizenship. I know people in Australia. I don't have a
Yeah,
biological
it's really hard to
connection.
get citizenship in Australia, from what I can tell.
I can get Austrian
And New Zealand.
citizenship as a. Oops, we probably shouldn't have kicked. We probably shouldn't have kicked you out during the Holocaust. Yeah, that is 100% why. Through my
Oh, wow.
grandfather.
Guilt.
Yeah,
guilt.
guilt, and Austria is having a population crisis.
That's I heard
Oh.
about that. A lot of the like kind of
But
European.
my
Eastern
cousin
European-
actually did. My cousin now has Austrian citizenship, which is EU citizenship. So that's useful.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh.
Interesting. No, but
Oh
also
yeah, I
also
forgot that you can get like a special part card for like Canada and Mexico, right? Like the
Oh,
bordered countries.
yeah.
that's cool.
Also, yeah, also another place that I've always wanted to live, but it's still in the U.S. unfortunately, is in North Carolina. But yeah, maybe one day I'll move down there.
Um,
I just heard it's like a different vibe down there. Sorry.
yeah, I was like, oh. I've lived many places.
Yeah.
That is, I
Yeah.
this is now me to talk about places I want to visit. I also really want in Canada, really want to go to Prince Edward Island, which is where Anne of Green Gables takes place. And there's an Anne of Green Gables house, and I wish to go there, and it sounds pretty.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Cool. No, like if I could go like to any filming location, I would definitely go to probably I mean, this is a Star Trek fan of me, but I would love to go to Vasquez Rocks. I mean, I know Larry
That would be
Nemechek
fun too.
does tours,
Yeah.
so maybe if when I go to LA eventually, because I'm gonna have to,
Mhm.
I can go to Vasquez Rocks with Larry and go check it out. But the other
I can
place
take you
I'd
there
love to
too.
go to is, sorry.
I said I can take you there too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Vasquez Rocks.
That's right. You do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm literally
Um,
down the street from Starfleet.
Really? No, I know. Um, the other place that I would love to go to is the actual filming house where they filmed Dawson's Creek. It's like on a back road in North Carolina, but it's private property.
Mhm.
So every person that has a
Mm.
visit there has to talk to the actual people that own the house. But I've heard they're really, really nice people and they like tourists.
Oh.
So
That's cool.
That's
um,
good. I feel bad for people who have like ended up at people's like places who are like, please stop coming by my house.
yeah, stop coming to my
I
house.
would I would purposely be like, I got a filming location. Let's make a museum. Let's go. Let's get some money out of this. I wouldn't
The
live there
Yeah.
though.
the place that was it was a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which is why people show up, not because it was in Deep Space Nine, but it was
Oh.
the compound when they did the thing where the Jadzia and all the Klingons went to
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
whatever the Blood Oath or yeah.
Mhm.
They had a sign for the longest time that said, it's like we don't give tours or whatever, but if you bring us this type of bottle of wine, it's like we might consider it, blah blah blah.
Oh,
And so people did that, and they're like, "Oh my god, can't you tell this was a joke?" Like, no, that's not like it
No.
was very clearly like it felt like you meant
You have
this.
to make it
Very
ludicrous.
clear.
What you're asking. You
Yeah.
have to be like $1 million.
That felt very like realistic, and yeah. So
And
now
I
the
would not have
sign
assumed
is
that
gone.
was a joke, and that is not
Yeah.
me being neurodivergent. That is me
No.
understanding what a joke is.
Nobody that I brought by there thought it was a joke ever. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, maybe we should go try and get some wine." I'm like, "Yeah."
No.
I live down the street from there, so
Yeah.
Mm.
I
yeah. Also, yeah.
also, if you
Also,
live
like
at a Frank Lloyd Wright house, what do you think is gonna happen? I don't like.
yeah, please.
Like I wonder if at some point any whoever ends up owning CBS, because that might change in a couple of months or in a couple of
Salon's
weeks.
about to go live.
Yeah,
Oh.
the salon is about to go.
I would really like if like they would allow people to do tours like of like Star Trek sets of the past. I think that would be really nice.
Yeah, I think the problem is they'd have to keep them set up.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
would. That'd
space.
be, and that would be expensive.
Yeah,
But that's just a fan in me.
yeah, I would love that, but space is the problem. Just like the
Space is a problem,
yeah.
yeah.
I would love that, but I feel like, or I want a Star Trek theme park. That's my
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
I
yes.
want
I need
Universal
a
to
Star
do
Trek
it.
theme park.
Yeah, because I feel like Disney's not going to. They have Star Wars.
I photoshopped a version where if they had bought DC and Star Trek instead of Marvel and Star Wars, so it had like the San Francisco bridge that used to be in front of Disney's California Adventure was
Oh.
Starfleet,
Yeah.
and had like
Oh
in
my
between it,
God.
I had like I'll find that and post it. But that was fun.
Oh, you gotta
Hey,
post it. I
we
gotta
did
see it.
Yeah,
talk some about
Photoshop.
Discovery,
That
Yes.
is a
And-
dick.
We
and
did.
I feel like the
We
salon's
did.
also going to get off track.
Mm.
Is any last thing people want to say?
Fun episode. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing if they're able to beat the Breen to, the location.
And yeah, no, it was it was a really fun episode that I felt wasn't an episode like it wasn't an episode. It wasn't an episode for filler. It was an episode that pushed the story forward. And
Yeah.
like Braxton said, I'm really interested to see if they're going to win the race and beat the Breen to the location.
Well, and they think that they're destroyed, so like they have
Yeah.
the advantage of the Breen
Right.
not planning on them
No,
showing up.
Right. So
So-
they have the advantage.
But they are stuck. They have they're even their warp drive doesn't work right now, so they need to get that repaired. That was the very
Right.
end that we probably didn't
Yeah.
talk about, where it's like, yes, they appeared to have blown up, but they also really did suffer a lot of damage. So they're they
Yeah.
trying to get it done in 5 hours, or is that earlier? But yeah,
Right. So they, yeah.
Oh,
so they definitely need some
I
TLC.
understand. I understand, Cake. I knew you were just ribbing. So I also I love this episode. I got to be annoying about books. Yay! Ironically, there I was not that annoying about Labyrinth. You're welcome. So I didn't try to sing any songs. But yeah, I really love this episode, and I'm really excited to see like how the Discovery wraps up, which is so weird because it's weird
Yeah.
for Discovery to wrap up because it's like the first Trek show I've like watched live.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? I'm gonna actually, in the final finale of Discovery, I'm gonna pour one out. I'm gonna have like a drink of something while I'm watching the episode.
It'll be
Probably have some wine or something.
yeah.
Possibly.
Picard's
idea.
horrible wine from his
Yeah.
vineyard that nobody likes.
not a Picard vintage. I'll probably have some Tennessee whiskey or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season wraps up, and I've really been enjoying it. And live long and prosper, everyone.